Implementing subscriptions in your iOS app is hard, like really, really hard. But with the help of Qonversion, it is very, very easy. Alex here from Rebeloper.com, and today I'm going to show you how to implement in-app purchase subscriptions into your iOS app. So let's hit that subscribe button, open up Xcode, and let's dive in. If you dealt with in-app purchases or subscriptions for that matter in your iOS app, you know that it is a pain to implement. And what if you wanted to add subscriptions into an Android app, or what if you want to have Stripe connected to your iOS app? Well, that is a lot of things to do. So Qonversion to the rescue. That is Qonversion with a Q, not a C, with a Q. So you can find them at qonversion.io. And today I'm going to show you how easy it is to add subscriptions as in-app purchases into your iOS app. Now go ahead and check out their website. There's a lot to digest here. You can also have analytics and integrations like A/B testing, push notifications. Today we are going to just manage the core functionality of Qonversion, and that is subscriptions. So go ahead and check them out. Now before we dive into the code, let me just remind you that you can download some resources that we are going to use today from the link in the description, where you can just sign up for all the resources for my YouTube channel, and then you just search for the title of this tutorial. So this is what you are going to get, and that we are going to use in an Xcode project. And this is the Xcode project. It is just a simple content view, just started fresh, haven't added anything. Okay, so that is what we are going to start off with, but let me just show you what we are going to build out today. And you will need an actual iOS device, so an actual iPhone, for this to work. Because we are going to sign up, and make sure that inside the settings app you do have a signed in sandbox user. Okay, so let me just show you what we are going to build out today, and we are going to log in, and there we go. Do you enjoy this app so far? Let's just subscribe, and you may tap on the subscribe button there. And I'm not going to go through with it because we are going to build this out from scratch, but we can also restore the purchases and then log out. If we subscribe, we are going to be taken to a pro view of this app, and basically that's it. So let's just start off by adding, let's just add all of our resources. So here we have an in-app purchase screenshot. Before we do that, I want to make sure that you also have a valid app Store Connect app created, and you also have a subscription created right over there, because we are going to need that. And this is where this in-app purchase screenshot comes in. You do need to provide all of the metadata for this to work. So go ahead and use this one. Also, make sure that everything is set up under App Stores Connect, I believe, yes, users agreements. So all of the agreements are signed. Okay, so let's just dive right into it, and let's add some default code right over here. So what I'm going to do is grab the extensions, the main, Qonversion manager, states, and views, and just simply drag and drop them into our project. So just like that. Okay, well, before we do that, we do want to remove these. So let's just move to trash, and then just drag and drop all over those. Make sure that you copy items is needed, and create groups and add to targets. All of them are checked. Okay, and what I just deleted, the Qonversion tutorial app and the content view, it's right over here. So that's why I needed to delete those. Also, in the assets, you want to drag and drop this logo. And I did add this app icon just for the app icon's sake, but you don't have to do that. Okay, so let's just build and run and see how this app looks like currently. Let's see what's going on. So no such module as Qonversion. So first thing, we want to add Qonversion as an SPM. So let's just go to our project, package dependencies, and click on this plus sign. And what you want to do, I already have this on my recently used, but what you want to do is just go to github.com/conversion iOS SDK, and then go right over here and copy out the HTTPS, and then paste it right over here. And let's just add those packages. So this will just add the conversion package, and currently conversion 2.18.0. Okay, now it's time to build and run, and hopefully now we will not get any errors. Let's see what is, yes, border prominent is iOS 15. So let's just make this iOS 15. So under general, let's just make the deployment info to iOS 15. Build and run again, fingers crossed. And hopefully, yes, we are launching. So let me just grab my phone here, unlock it, and let me just show you what we got here. So yeah, it's looking awesome. So yeah, subscribe for, so we don't have any data just yet, but basically that is it. We can log out, log in, restore the purchases, subscribe for, so we may tap on that, but we are going to implement that next. So let me just talk a little bit about the structure of how this app is created, like this demo app, because you really need to understand in order to create a really useful user experience for your users. So let me just go through these files briefly, so you may understand how all of this is structured, and then we are going to get into the code of how to implement conversion. So here we have main. This is where it all starts in a conversion tutorial app. And what we got here, we are creating an auth state. Now the auth state is under the states, and this is where we are having the value of the auth state as a published variable, so we can check, okay, are we logged in, are we authenticated, not authenticated, or loading. This is really important because if we are not authenticated and till we fetch some data from the servers, we are not, so we should show the loading screen. Also is subscribed, and there's a login function, a logout function, check subscription. We are going to get into these later on. So this is where we create our auth state, set it as an environment. And also we are going to wait a little bit, like 2 seconds, and then set the auth state value to not authenticated. So basically what this does is just mimics the server. So let's say we are fetching some values from the server for 2 seconds, and it's getting us back that, okay, we are not authenticated. Okay, that is what this does. Also, we have a UI application delegate adapter, and that's right over here. So what this does is makes sure that we are starting our conversion manager, like the conversion actually inside our application did finish launching with options. We are going to get into the code real soon. Under the content view, we get our auth state as an environment object, and we just check the values, loading, authenticated or not authenticated, and show a progress view, a home view inside a navigation view, or our auth view. Now these views can be found under here. So also the pro view. The pro view is just hello subscribed user, and this is where we want to get after our subscription. Our auth view is just a logo and then a button with a text of login. And I do have this add button label style, so we have these kind of fancy buttons in our app. But the most important part is here under login. And the login takes our auth states.login function. We are going to cover that also. Okay, home view. Here we have a little bit of logic. Are we subscribed or not? If we are, then we are presenting a navigation link that is leading to a pro view. Otherwise, this text, so we may subscribe, and the button to subscribe to. Also, we have a restore button right over here and a logout button. Okay, and basically that's it. Also, we are having the extension, the view plus the extension, a button label. That's pretty straightforward. And we have our conversion manager helper and our conversion manager, because yeah, it's really nice to have all of this stuff in one simple struct, so it's not all over your code. Also, I'm having this product details struct, so I can better display some product details, the price and the duration on that subscribe button. Okay. So yeah, basically that's it. Now you understand how the structure of our code is. Now it's time to do some actual coding. So the first thing we want to do is in the app delegate adapter, just import conversion. So import conversion, and right before we return true, we want to go conversion manager dot launch. Okay, and basically that's our first step. It's really good to have that first step, because let's just take a look at what it does. Well, actually nothing. So let's just yeah, this is under the conversion manager, and from now on we are going to work a lot inside our conversion manager. Okay, let's just see. Launch. So first of all, we want to have a key, because this will be really simple. It's just conversion.launch with key. Also, as you can see, conversion is imported. Okay, so right over here we have our key. Where is that key? Well, we want to go back to our Safari. Let me just move this back because it just moved a little bit. Let's just go back to Safari. And let's just log in or sign up if you haven't already done so. And right over here, let's create a brand new app. So let's create a new project, and the project name will be Conversion Tutorial with T. And let's click on the next here. And what we want to do next is connect with Apple App Store. So let's just check this. What we want to do is add the app-specific share secret and the App Store ID. These are the two requirements. So what we are going to do is just grab them right over here. It's under App Information. Let's just scroll down, copy that out, go back, App Store ID, and then the shared secret. Now, this can be found under Manage, the in-app purchases. Let's just wait for App Store to load our data, hopefully really soon. And then you just click on App-Specific Shared Secret. As you can see, I already created one auto-renewable subscription. So let's just generate that, and I'm just going to copy this out. Of course, I will regenerate this later on, so you are not going to use that. Okay, so now we have added that, and basically that's it. There are a lot of other options if you are using push, but we are not going to do this in this tutorial, but just to be aware of that. Okay, and yeah, that's it. Now we can grab our key. So that is under settings. If you just go right down under here, you will see your project key. So let's just copy that out. And now we can just go back to our Xcode project and paste it in there. Really nice. Okay, so now for the launch, we are just going to go conversion.launch with key and our key. As simple as that. Now we are able to launch that. Okay, after that, we are going to log in. As you already saw, we do have a login button. So we are going to do some stuff under conversion. But before we do that, let's just go back to our Safari and let's add in our products, because you need to understand it. So let's just go back to our conversion tutorial app. And then under product center, let's see how all of this looks like. So you see we have permissions and then we have products. So think of permissions as a pro level, like this is a pro inside your app. And then on the product side, you are going to add in your App Store Connect in-app purchase there. So let's just start creating, let's say, our product first, and under our ID, this is the conversion product ID. I will name this silver. Okay. The type, let's just select the type direct subscription. It could be subscription with trial or non-recurring purchase. That's really, really awesome to have. And the duration, I'm going to set it to weekly because I do know that it is weekly under the App Store Connect. Now here, the App Store product identifier. So let's just go back. Let's click on done here. And I'm just going to copy this out. And then paste it right over here. Okay, so Google Play product and the sprite, we don't need that. Okay, and now let's just click on save, and we have one product added. Now it's time to create our permission. So let's just go into the, well, right over here under permission, and identifier, I'm just going to name it Pro. Main description, main permission is fine. Products to unlock. So now we can select any of the products that we have created. And I'm going to select silver right over here. And now we can save that. Okay, looking great. So what we want to do is go back and take care of the login right now. Okay, so under the login, for now, let me just explain how all of this works. So because you are actually subscriber for this app, Qonversion needs to have a specific unique user ID. So that is created automatically, but I would like for you to go further. Like let's say you have Firebase connected or any other server connected, and on that server you have a unique ID for your user. So we are going to set that unique ID for Qonversion to know, and that is really easy. As you can see, we have a user ID, and if you take a look at the login user ID where I'm using it, I'm just setting it to 12345. So it's actually, let me just show you where that is under auth state, and here we go. So login user ID 12345, email, name, and user properties, but we are going to get to there soon. So yeah, if we are going to set our user ID, then Qonversion will always know that, okay, this is our unique user. So Qonversion dot set user ID, and this is a string, and that is user ID. Okay, now you may optionally add emails, names, and there are quite a lot of things that you have predefined values you can set for. Also, you can set a user property, whatever you like. So let's just do this for email and name. Those are predefined, and then set user properties, our very own. So I'm just going to copy this out. It's easier to just have this, we don't waste time with typing. So let's just indent this. So first of all, we are going to unwrap our email. So if email is set to nil by default, so if you are not going to provide it, then we are going to set the property of email to that email. And we have also a name for that. And go ahead and check out what other default properties you can use. If you want to set some sort of unique property, then just add in a dictionary and just use it as set user property and what the key is and its value. As you can see, I'm just going through each of the user properties that I'm providing in this dictionary and just setting it. Okay, so basically that's it. Now, how do you know if your user is subscribed or not? Well, we are checking for permissions, and let me just type this out. It's relatively simple to understand. So Qonversion dot check permissions, and we are going to get back an array of permissions. Actually, it is a dictionary of permissions and an optional error. So permissions and then an error, permissions and then error. There we go. So let me just copy that out, how we are guarding against the error. So if let error is error, then we are just going to print out the localized description. Go ahead and just propagate this back to your application how it is ever needed, so you can just show this inside alert if you do want to do that. Now, how do we, now we have our permissions, and this has to be a small p. Now we do have our permissions. We want to go through all of the permissions, check if the pro is active, and if it is, then we want to say we want to complete with a boolean of true. Now I have already set this up right down over here. Check permission for the permissions, and as you can see, we are just creating a permission from the permissions. So if this exists, the pro exists and is active, then we take a look at the renew state. Will renew or non-renewable. Non-renewable is not for subscriptions, of course. If will renew, then we are completing with true. Otherwise, if billing issue or cancelled or whatever, we are completing with false. At this point, you might want to present an alert with the dedicated message for that. And if it is not active or we couldn't create that pro permission from the permissions, then we just complete with false. So let's just go right over here and just go check permission and permissions, and we are going to complete right over here with completion, because the completion is a boolean value, the same with the check pro permission. Okay, and this is how we know if we are subscribed or not. And take a look at the code inside the views to find out how I'm just actually using it. It's an if-else statement basically. Okay, restore. You do want to restore the purchases. Again, Qonversion dot restore with the completion, and here again we are having permissions, getting back again with a small p please, and an error. Okay, we check our error, so let's just take care of that. And if we do have an error, we just complete with that error, so failure and error. Okay, now next up we want to check if the pro permission is available, and if it is, then we can unlock the pro feature, for example. So again, we just go check pro permission with the permissions and completion. Now this is a result type of completion that we have here on the restore, and the other one is a boolean. So let's just have is active, and then we just go completion and with the success value of is active. Okay, now this might not be active, just so you know. You want to make sure that this is true. That's when you know that, okay, the inner purchases have been restored. And finally, we have our purchase. Okay, so I have created a conversion manager helper, which has a lot of extra stuff that is not conversion related. So first of all, we want to get a product, and then we want to purchase that product. That is kind of the way conversion will work. So with this conversion manager helper gets our product from an ID. As you can see, I'm just adding here an ID, and the ID is actually silver. So conversion manager helper dot and get product with an ID, and we are going to get a completion. Here is ID, and then result, and let's just go through the result. I'm just going to again copy this out. It's a lot of code and it's just simple, and it's easier to just explain it to you. Let's hit Control I. Just remove this so we may have a lot more space to see. So we are getting back a product, and then if that product exists, then we just go conversion, purchase product, product. Again, we are getting back a permissions, error, and is cancelled. Go ahead and use is cancelled if you want to. I didn't use this in this tutorial. And then check pro permissions. So again, it will just unlock if the product has been purchased. Okay, and basically that's it. We are ready. Again, purchase product. We are getting a product. Go ahead and check that out. Restore, check permissions, log out, and setting some properties, and launching with a key. And basically that's it. Let's see how this looks like. So let's build and run on our phone. Let's wait for this to build. Hopefully it is building. Let's see. No, it failed. Let's see. Why did it fail? Let's see. Yeah, yeah. I just copy and pasted some stuff the wrong way, most probably. Yeah. Okay, let me just do that again. And it's in loading state. Now the auth view is presented. We are just logging in. There we go. Subscribe? Yes, let's just subscribe. There we go. Let's subscribe for that. This is actually a sandbox tester, so make sure that you already have that set up in iTunes Connect. And then let's have our password set in. There we go. You have purchased, your purchase was successful. Let's tap on OK. And yeah, as you can see, now the Pro View button has appeared. And yeah, make sure that you are also checking out the logs here. I do have nice logs added in here. And if you just go to our Pro View, hello, subscribe user. There we go. Also, we may restore the purchases. And let's just wait for that. And yeah, as you can see, restored equals true. So the Pro View did appear. We didn't see anything, but basically that's it. And we can also log out. Now this also logs out from Qonversion, and we can now just log in. And basically that's it. That is really, really awesome. Subscriptions with just a few lines of code. Now, if you do like Qonversion, go ahead and check them out. They are at qonversion.io. This is the dashboard, but it is at qonversion.io. Go ahead and check them out. They do have a really nice pricing, so a lot of free tiers that you can just test out. And yeah, go ahead. It's at qonversion.io. I highly recommend them. Don't forget to download the resources for this tutorial so you can test out how easy it is to add in-app purchase subscriptions into your iOS apps with the help of Qonversion. Now, if you do like these type of videos, go ahead and hit that like button to spread it around. It really helps with the YouTube algorithm. And while you're at it, make sure to hit that notification button so you may be notified of new videos from this channel. Videos like these ones. Go ahead and check them out. They are really awesome about Swift UI and Swift. And as usual, I will see you in the next one.